I guess, before we delve into the Welcome to the Blumhouse film, I think I'm right in saying that you first got into film through your uncle, helping him out on his projects. Was that where the the passion for filmmaking began?
Yeah, definitely. It began with my uncle who would make films with him and his friends, and they would kind of just let me do all the stuff that they didn't want to do. And then also, I think my family really movies and mostly movies is the way that we gather and we talk and communicate. And so at any kind of like celebration, any kind of family night, any kind of whatever, it's always around a film. So that to me seemed like if it can bring people together, it can get people talking, then that's what I want to do because it's what it did for my family.
And I guess if you've been the dog's body before, does that mean you're a little kinder to your own people in those positions?
Sorry, what was that?
Obviously, you said that you did what all the jobs that other people didn't want to do. Does that mean that that you're nicer these days to the people that you're asking those jobs?
Yeah, I mean, I have a full appreciation and respect for every single crew position, and it's such a group effort to make a film that yeah, there's no reason not to be nice to every single person that puts their hand on it.
And this was a script that came to you. When you sat down to read it, what was it that really connected to and made you think, I've got to bring this story to life?
The thing that hooked me the most was that it was based like the horror of it is based on something that actually happened, and I was surprised by that. It's something that I didn't expect. I didn't really see coming either, so it was a nice like twist. But also, I wanted to help give a voice to the people that this real life horror actually affected, and so I knew once I read that I needed to become involved.
Like you say, there is obviously this ghost story aspect to the story, but the real horror is from the real life things that are going on. You sort of hoping that with this film you sort of get the message out there to people, like yourself who didn't know before reading the script, and maybe encourage a bit of debate about because as much as this film's set in the 70s, these things are still happening. It's still horribly relevant. You're hoping that this film sort of cast a spotlight on it.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that would be the intent. I think that's probably the ultimate goal for me, aside from, entertaining an audience, is to give at least just a little bit of attention to that issue because, the women affected by that were very wrongfully victimized.
The film takes it's takes place in the 70s, and it's focused on this married couple, but it's mainly Diana who we spend the bulk of the time with. So I'm guessing it was really important to cast. At what point did you realize that Ariana had what it took to play this really sort of fierce tenacious woman?
She is, I mean, if when you meet her, she's such a great big personality, and it was a nice contrast to the vulnerable situation that she's going to be in, and we needed this like balance of strength but vulnerability, and there's like no one way to put her. I think there's like you can't define her in any one way, and I think that's perfect for the role because the character herself can't be defined in one way. And I think that's actually one of the main conflicts of the story, is that she's constantly searching for her identity and where she fits in.
And the 70s setting, a lot of people who make a horror film set in the period, they would still maybe add some modern flourishes. But I know that you sort of, you took it, you sort of like went to school almost in the films from the era. What did those films sort of give you in terms of your visual style and feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the coolest gifts that this film has given me, is the ability to just fully embrace the research and understanding why I love the films that I do, and understanding the films of that time, filmmakers of that time had a similar visual language. So if you take classics like Rosemary's Baby, even something like Jaws, The Omen, all of it is just like this thoughtful, elegant blocking and camera work that contribute to I don't know, there's like a character to the story and the way that it's told. And I wanted to continue that tradition and contribute in a way that isn't really done too much in modern cinema.
I think one of the main things when I was talking to Ariana was there was a lot of long takes. Is that sort of nice as a director to sort of give the actors that time to breathe instead of like cut and next scene.
Yeah, and I think it also we all have to be like aware of our choices and much more. I think it gives the actors a chance to be more present and fully live out a scene as opposed to like, constantly cutting and chopping, which is very much the older style of filmmaking too. It's, one earth for each scene.
And through your career, you've worked with Warner's. You sort of like got like picked for a project with them, and you've done some work in TV. But this is your first sort of big full feature film, and you're already working with Blumhouse. What was that experience like?
I mean, it's great. It's really nice to be working with Blumhouse and Amazon, where they both gave us the freedom and chose projects that are bold, but also say something. And I'm really happy to be part of this group of filmmakers.
I mean, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to see the other films in this year's, but I think that the focus this year seems to be much more on sort of marginalized voices. So was that something that sort of enticed you into this project?
Yeah, definitely. I think having these types of stories being told and have the backing of Blumhouse and Amazon is really something to be proud of.
I mean, are you sort of hopeful that this is a big change in the industry, that these stories will get told more? Because like I say, this is when I was watching it, it's like, oh, this is there's people of color, there's second generation immigrants, there's old people in some stories. These aren't people that we normally see on screen, and yet they are a big part of our society. So you're hoping that now the industry is finally ready to take notice and tell these stories more?
Yeah, I think one of the big goals that I have is that I give a chance I open up a dialogue with an audience that doesn't really get a ton of screen time or stories that are geared towards them. And by them, I mean the culture that I come from, the Latin community. I think we make up such a significant part of the viewing audience, and there's a lack of representation on screen. And so I'm hoping with my film that we at least get to start having these types of conversations with our audience and opening up different ways of thinking and exploring our own culture and our ideas and creating something uniquely ours.
And it's spooky season. Why should people take a chance on Madres? What are they going to get from this if they select it for one of their spooky watches?
I think if you're looking for a traditional horror film, then you probably want to skip it because it's not traditional. But if you're looking for something atmospheric and creepy and you like 70s horror films and you want to have something to talk about after you finish watching it, then you should definitely tune in to Madres, because it's all of that and hopefully more.
And have you had a chance to decide what direction you're going in next? Have you got any projects on the back burner?
No, there's ideas brewing. We'll see.
But I'll wish you the best of luck with this one.
Well, thank you so much, Kat.
Thank you. It's also nice to practice my Spanish.
Hey.
I've started learning. I thought it's been my lockdown thing, is I'm going to learn a language and I'm going to learn Spanish. So it was quite nice to sort of, in a way, I sort of understood things that Diana couldn't understand, which was
that's awesome.
So thank you. Thank you for the homework. But yes, I will wish you the best of luck, and I will let you get on with your day.